segment. We'll start with Thursday, Saints at Cardinals. No Marquise Brown, probably no James Conner. I mean, this is all going to fall on Kyler to make magic. D-Hop will be back, so that could be interesting. I don't expect Robbie Anderson to do much on a short week. Super interested to see what happens with Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton and what happens there. I'm expecting Taysom Hill to continue to do his Taysom Hilling. Thomas and Landry already ruled out. Olave is back. Alvin Kamara should just destroy the Cardinals.
So who are you picking?
I'm going Saints.
Okay, who's your bust out?
My bust out's going to be Alvin Kamara. My busted is going to be, I'm going to go with D-Hop.
Okay, Tobin, who are you picking, bud?
I've got the Cardinals in this one. Even with the mass unit they're running down there, I think they're going to win this one. Bust out. We bagged on Kyler so hard. I think he's going to have a good game in this one. So I'm going to go Kyler Murray for the bust out. Busted. I'm going to go. I'm going to go QB1 for the Saints, whoever it is. I think their wideouts are so decimated right now. There's just not much to give the ball to other than Kamara. So, I mean, if I'm D coordinator for the Cardinals, I know where I'm putting 14 dudes.
Taking Kamara away. Okay. I unfortunately am agreeing with Tommy on this one. I took the Saints. I think the Saints defense is going to be good enough to confuse Murray, which doesn't take a whole lot right now. And the Cardinals don't have any weapons at this point in time unless D-Hop comes back and all of a sudden has sharpened claws.
One thing I want to point out here that I freaked out a little bit because in the Agents League, I didn't get Dak Prescott, I was going to bring in as my backup. I've got Kyler. He's the number 6 quarterback.
Yeah, but he's cost his team 2 games the last 2 weeks.
Fantasy-wise, I don't care.
He's great, but real world-wise, he's not very good.
Right.
My bust out, Kamara. I think Kamara goes off for probably 135 on the ground and another 60 on the air with at least 2 touchdowns.
Woo! That'd be a monster.
I think he's going to have a monster game. My busted player, got to be Murray until proven otherwise. He's got 2 busted weeks in a row, in my opinion. Okay, Tobin, next game on the list is Steelers versus the Dolphins. Who you taking?
Fins up, baby. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Okay.
I think my bust out, until proven otherwise, is going to be, I want to say Tyreek, but yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Tyreek's going to be the bust out. I don't think they even match him speed-wise. I almost said Waddle just because all the focus is going to be on Tyreek, but I just don't think they have the speed to run with him. Busted. I'm going to go Claypool. He had his monster game last week, and I think he disappears this week. Zane, I hope you get him traded in that league you're trying to trade him in.
I hope he does too. I am taking the Steelers. Here's the reason why. Just like the defensive coordinator for Baltimore this last week knew how to shut down Lamar Jackson, defensive coordinator for Steelers is who?
Brian Flores.
Former coach of the Dolphins. I think that Brian Flores has the magic sauce to be able to shut down Tua. Therefore, I'm taking the Steelers in this game. My bust-out player is Waddle. My busted player of the week is Claypool as well. I think he's had his one good game of the year, and I think he's done. Zane, you better get him traded before Sunday, bud. Thomas?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins here just because it's in Miami. I think the reason primarily the Steelers won that game last week against the Bucs is because it was in Pittsburgh. I do think it's going to be a lot closer than what we think. I'll still take Tyreek as my bust out player because really one play busts him out. One 70-yard bomb is still a 70-yard bomb and will probably be the biggest score in the game. I'm looking at a 16 or 17-10 type of game with Najee Harris being the guy that's busted.
Okay. The next game I get to pick is the Bears versus the Patriots. Oh, yeah.
Really? We get them in prime. I mean, it's them and the Broncos is prime time
we get them
torture.
We get them Monday night.
I get that it's TV markets, but good God.
One of the things the NFL's got to stop doing is giving us TV markets and just give us matchups. Give us matchups. You're going to get a better crowd. I'm taking the Patriots. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I think the Bears are going to get shellacked. My bust-out player is Ramondre Stevenson. I don't think there's any way that he's not going to rush for at least 120. My busted player, I told you to go with Fields until proven otherwise. Haven't been proven otherwise yet. I think the Bears are one of the 4 worst football teams playing in the NFL right now. I think Alabama's college team might be able to beat them at this point in time.
So where would you rank Tennessee then?
I think Tennessee consistently would not be able to beat. If Alabama played Tennessee 10 times, Alabama would win 8 of them.
The most penalties in Alabama school history against Tennessee.
Yeah, but they earned every one of them. Did you watch that game?
They did. It was not good.
I mean, ask those goalposts. I hear you can get a good deal on a set of goalposts if you want to go fishing.
Yeah.
They're in the river, that's for sure.
Thomas, who you taking?
I'm going to take the Patriots. It's a slam dunk here. It doesn't matter whether it's Zappy, Mac Jones, Joe Judge. It doesn't matter. Pull somebody out there. Now, Belichick teams traditionally struggle with running quarterbacks. They struggled against Kaepernick. They've struggled against the Culpeppers. I mean, everybody, if you can run as a quarterback, they struggle against it because they don't spy. That might mean that Fields isn't the busted. I'm going to take David Montgomery for that. And I'm going to go ahead and go with Ramondre as the bust out, although I'm tempted to go Patriots D.
Okay, Tobin.
I've got the Pats as well. Busted for me is Fields. He may run, but he's going to probably throw 3 picks because Belichick's going to be in his brain. I mean, he's already there. Let's be honest. They're in the film room, and he's already got those Jedi mind tricks going. Bust out, I've got Stevenson as well. I think
Clean sweep.
He's a lot to handle right now, and we don't know who's going to be QB1 there, but I don't think it matters.
I don't think it is either. Brandon Zappy had a good week last week.
I mean, he might want to keep the job.
He may be keeping the job.
Okay, I'm going to skip you because I always try to give you guys your favorite teams. Tobin, Chiefs versus the 49ers.
You can't see me, but I'm doing the chop. I'm taking my Chiefs again. This just in, folks. I'll probably pick them every week.
Shocker.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I might change things
November
up.
7th, you might take the Titans.
Well, there's a possibility there. But I've got the Chiefs. I think Andy bounces back well off of losses, and that team got a little fire in their belly, I think, after getting beat last week at home. So I think they're going to go into Santa Clara, the Santa Clara 49ers. And I got Mahomes busting out. And I think he's going to be sending the Duke all over that field. I think it's going to be Kelsey. I think it's going to be Juju, MVS. You might even have a CEH sighting this week.
Okay.
But Mahomes is the dude. And I've got Kittle as my busted. I think that matchup, it's not even a match. I mean, it's him and Kelsey. Everybody talks about it. But sometimes that gets overhyped. And I think Kittle might just fade on this one.
Okay. Well, I'm taking the 49ers. As mentioned earlier, I think Mahomes is going to have a tough week. I've got Mahomes actually as my busted player of the week, just because I think he's going to have that tough a week against the 49ers defense. And I have Kittle's my bust out player, as I think he's going to be the dominant. He's going to be the force that leads the 49ers to the win, because Kansas City is susceptible to a tight end.
You didn't see the Falcons Niners game last weekend, obviously, did you?
Yeah, I did, but I just think at home 49ers are a different team. Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs all the way here. But before all the injuries, this would have been a killer game. I would have loved to have seen it, both teams full strength. I mean, this would be a great game potentially for a kickoff game, like a Thursday night game when both teams are healthy.
You don't put good teams on Thursday night. Have you not got that MO yet?
No, I'm talking about like the
opener. Yeah.
The opener, yeah.
You got to win a Super Bowl first.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Chiefs did beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl,
You're right.
So there's always that. I agree with Tobin that all of those guys, this may even also be a CEH sighting week. They're all going to get involved. Pat's going to be the bust out. But I think it's probably like Jeff Wilson Jr. who is the busted. I think that the passing game is going to be the only thing that keeps the 49ers in it, because they're going to have to throw. I would have made Jimmy G my busted, but I think he's going to get enough passes to Debo and Ayuk that he'll have good numbers, but it'll still result in a loss.
Okay. Next game on the list is the Colts versus the Titans. I'm going to go first. I'm taking the Titans.
Shocker.
I know, at home, coming off a bye week, getting healthy, getting rested. Henry's just going up now. He got a chance to recharge and rejuice. He's going to be he is my bust out player of the week. Man, don't see any reason why he shouldn't be at this point in time. My busted player of the week is going to be the Colts running backs, because I think Tennessee does one thing well, and that's stop the rush. They can't stop you from playing catch, but they can stop you from running the damn ball. Tommy?
I'm going to go with the Titans too. Now, Deion Jackson was a revelation last week. If the Colts can't see this is what they need to also do with Jonathan Taylor, I don't know what that coaching staff is thinking. If you give Jonathan Taylor 5 passes out of the backfield, it's just like what they're doing with Derrick Henry now.
Mm-hmm.
It totally changes how they have to guard this guy.
Yes.
And how they have to defend him. Now, that being said, Derrick Henry's my bust out here. I mean, I don't see how with a week off, he doesn't come out and just brutally smash mouth the Colts. Now, my busted player, I'm going to go ahead and go with Ryan Tannehill. He's not going to do much here because he's not going to need to do much here. There'll probably be some weird Tennessee wideout player that does well, whether it's Westbrook Akina or Bob Trees. He'll have a bunch of catches and a bunch of yards and a touchdown. But like Tannehill's going to have 150 yards and 1 touchdown, and 50 of it's going to be to Derrick Henry out of the backfield, and the rest of it's going to be sprinkled between 5 dudes.
Okay, Tobin?
Yeah, we've got the trifecta on the Titans, so sorry for your team there, buddy.
That's all right.
That's the kiss of death for those of you keeping track at home.
Actually, it kind of was last week, but
Yeah.
we'll see. It's the first one so far this week.
I think Henry, he's their primary, secondary, and tertiary weapon for the Titans. I mean, he's my bust out. I mean, if he doesn't have that day, they're not going to win the game. But
probably not.
But I've got Henry breaking out, and I've got Matt Ryan. For whatever reason, as down as you are on the Titans secondary, I think the pass rush might be just enough. Ryan has proven a little fragile and immobile. So
I'm not down on the Titans secondary. I'm simply quoting you exactly what they've been doing, which is nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, they haven't stopped anybody, but I think there's just enough pass rush there that Ryan may have a couple picks in this one.
Okay. Tommy, Falcons at the Bengals.
I'll go Bengals here. I wrote off the Falcons way too early. I wouldn't say they're for real, but they can take advantage if you aren't ready for them.
If this was in Atlanta, I would have thought a lot more about taking the Falcons rather than the Bengals.
I wouldn't have taken not over the Bengals. I mean, Mariota is a starter. I'm just not loving this matchup, even if it was, because again, Jamar Chase is faster on turf, so it doesn't matter. You take him and put him on turf, he still wins. You're going to have to play Pitts. You're going to have to play London, but only because of the target share. The Bengals roll here. Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Mixon, they're all studs. I'm going to go ahead and say it's T. Higgins this week. I like Chase, but it seems like they're doing an alternating receiver thing. Like they're not going to pay attention to Higgins because he hasn't done much the past 2 weeks and he's going to kill him.
Okay.
My bust is I'm going to go to Drake London here. I think that he will not get loose. If anybody does, it'll be Pitts.
Okay, Tobin?
I've got the Bengals here.
They're losing now. 2 in a row.
I've got the Bengals here. I agree. At home, they're too much for the Falcons. I mean, this is probably a touchdown game at best. I've got Mixon as my bust out. I think he's going to be the vulture this week. I think, they get the ball down there a lot, and I think he's going to be the guy punching it across. So I look for him to have 2, maybe even 3 TDs in this game.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities. My busted, he caught his first 2 TDs in the U.S. Last week and doubled his production. So he's due to take a month off. I'm going to go Kyle Pitts is going back to a blocking back this week.
I'm going to go back to hole number 1 like we were last week, trying to decide which tight end I'm going to start. And I'm going to start Pitts again, just like I did last week. I'm going to have to go to that same spot, do all that stuff because it was obviously good mojo for him.
Yeah, that must be it.
But since I can't do that, Pitts is going to be in trouble this week, it sounds like. Okay, I too am taking the Bengals. I think they're going to absolutely roll. I think their offense has got fine-tuned and going forward. I've got Burrow as my bust-out player of the week because he's going to throw 3 touchdown passes, probably 4. At least 3. I would lean towards the 4 and possibly rush one of those in if he doesn't throw for it. Burrow just looks like he's back in charge, and the offense looks like it's been in sync finally. My bust out, just like Tommy said, I'm going to go with London. Cincinnati got a good secondary. Their defense is getting better. Pressure on Mariota. London's inability to get open or win the one-on-one battles, I think, is going to have some issues. London 2 years from now is going to be an incredibly great running back, wide receiver. This year's not quite there. Okay, next game on the list is the Jets at the Broncos. Tobin?
Jets, Jets. You're welcome, Mark Shuck. Hope I didn't give him the kiss of death there, but
It depends what Tommy does.
This one, when you looked at this one on the schedule, it really looked like another turd in the punch bowl, but the Jets have proven to be pretty dynamic and exciting here in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to go with the Wichita kid, Breece Hall, as the bust out. Close to home, is going to have a lot of family in the stands, I think. And then my busted, he's literally busted. It's the pec, it's the hamstring, it's the brain, it's everything. It's Russ. And I don't think it's going to be any different this week. This may be the week that he gets benched.
Okay, I got the trifecta with Tobin. I got the Jets, Hall, R. Wilson as my bust out and busted player of the week. I'm thinking that the Broncos are seriously going. We gave 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3 players for this guy,
and paid him $40-something
We could have got
million.
We could have got Geno for a 5th. I think we need to fire our GM because he's obviously dumb. Tom,
I'm going to co-sign on every single one of those. I can't wait for the Jets to thump the Broncos in Denver and make Russ look like a chump. Breece Hall must play, must start, biggest bust out player here. Maybe some of the other Jets will do something. Maybe. For the Broncos, I'm scared for anybody who has to play Melvin Gordon. He's going to start, but he is on an incredibly short leash. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded during the game.
that'd be kind of harsh.
Sutton takes a downgrade here because Sauce will be on him, as Doc talked about earlier. And
It's a good thing to play at home. Otherwise, Gordon might be getting on a different plane to go someplace else.
oh, for sure. Yeah, or not leaving. Yeah,
He's going to have a pink slip in his locker when he gets in for halftime. That'd be
no
fantastic.
doubt.
We need a camera in that locker room this week.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Jerry Jeudy has his big game since Sauce will be shutting down Sutton. I don't know.
Next game on the list is the Giants at the Jaguars. That goes to me first, unfortunately, and I'll take the Giants. I think the Giants are going to run Saquon Barkley left. I think they're going to run right. I think they're going to run to the middle. I think they're going to screen to him. I think they're going to do everything they can to get the ball in his hand 25 to 30 times. So Barkley is obviously my bust-out player of the week. My busted player of the week, Robinson. I think he done.
Maybe.
I think they're going to finally look at Etienne and put the ball in his hands 15 to 20 times starting next week, but not this week. Tom?
I'll take the Giants just because I don't have a lot of faith in the Jaguars right now. And I don't understand how the Giants are winning games right now, but they are. And when they're 5-1, I can't dispute it any longer.
It's the Ross formula.
Saquon will get the ball 25 to 30 times. I'll take him as the bust out until further notice for the Giants. I don't trust any other Giants player outside of him. And if this is if James Robinson doesn't get a touchdown and nearly 100 yards in this game, I'm giving up on the Jacksonville running back situation. They're not going to give the ball to either one of these guys on a regular basis. It's going to be solely dependent on the game plan. I'm going to throw Christian Kirk under the bus here and say he's going to be the busted player, because you can't rely on him either. You don't know which wide receiver they're going to accurately target. So,
okay, Tobin?
I've got the Jags. I'm going to go against you guys here. I think that that's how the guy has an 83 game lead on you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
You have an 8-game lead on us. You can afford to take one off. Is what you're
I
saying?
can take a few shots to expand my lead. It'll be double digits next week. Mark it down. I've got the Jags. I feel like at home, I feel like the Giants on grass is a challenge. They're just, I don't know. I think they look a little different on grass than they do on the turf. But I've got the breakout is Tyson Etienne. I think he's going to vulture Tommy's Robinson. I look for him to have.
God, I hope so.
He's not going to run for 120. I look for him to have 50 yards on the ground and 4 or 5 catches and a TD or 2 mixed in there. So I think he's going to bust out. And I'm going to go Wandale as wide receiver 1. I mean, come on, man. If that's wide receiver 1, the cupboard is beyond bare.
Oh, Mother Hubbard's looking for a bone.
And unfortunately for him, we know who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, Danny Dimes.
I mean, their only offense, their only chance is to have Saquon control the clock.
Okay, Tommy, Lions at the Cowboys.
I have to go Cowboys here. It's the return of Dak, and I don't see how he doesn't come out and just force throws down the field, to whether they're to Lamb or to Gallup. I mean, Dalton Schultz practiced today, so there's a chance that they will have their original team all together here. I'm going to go ahead and say that CD is going to be the bust out player here. I think this is his game to go off and show he's the number one. My busted player here, I'm going to go Jeff Goff. He doesn't play well on the road. Granted, it's indoors in Dallas in the Jarrah Dome, but his home road splits are atrocious.
Okay, Tobin.
How
about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Yeah, here's my surprise face.
How about them Cowboys? My bust out player is going to be the scoreboard operator.
Well, that's a distinct possibility.
He's going to be the MVP. But I've got Zeke as my bust out. I think the Lions play a whole lot of man-to-man, and I think that's going to leave a whole lot of gaps if Zeke can get through that first piece. I think you could see him, the Zeke of old, get those 12, 15-yard runs, a few of those.
Okay.
Busted. I've got the Lions D. Do they even have one?
They do.
On paper.
I mean, they've got guys on the roster, but do they even have one?
They got on paper they got one.
Well, let me know when they show up.
Okay. Browns versus Ravens, Tobin.
Did you pick their
No,
dog?
I didn't. I'm sorry. You're right. I picked the Cowboys. I'm going with Lamb as my bust out player of the week, even though that kills me to do that. My bust is going to be Golf because I think Micah Parsons is going to blitz him all day long and just be able to just destroy him.
Now, their line's good in Detroit.
The line is very good in Detroit, but I think Micah Parsons is better at this point in time. But if he gets time, Jeff Goff could very easily pick apart that secondary or lack thereof in Dallas. The offensive line is going to determine for the Lions who wins this game or whether they're competitive in this game at all. And the way they played against the Patriots, not looking good, but they had a week off to get their stuff together.
Yeah, now we could also see the return of DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown. If both of those things happen, this is a totally different Lions team.
Mm-hmm. Tobin, Browns at the Ravens.
I've got the Ravens here. I think this is one of those matchups that seems like it feels like a split. They all win at home.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Ravens here. I think they've got just a little too much at home. I've got Lamar. I think he's going to be the X factor again here. I look for him to have another one of his, 60, 70 yards rushing and a TD, as well as throwing probably one or two to Mandrews. Busted, I've got Chubb. That Baltimore defense is really good at focusing on something to take away. And I think that's Cleveland's been taking him away. And I think Baltimore's going to help him.
Well, with a hand from Cleveland, I don't disagree unless they turn around and get the ball to him 25 times. I'm taking the Browns because I'm hoping at some point in time they're going to figure it out and give Chubb the ball 25 times a game. I also think that there's something wrong with the Ravens in the second half and they just die. Whether it be coaching, whether it be limited personnel, I'm not sure what it is, but the Ravens did not look good in the second half the last 4 games. I think Chubb's going to get the ball 25 times a game and rush for about 140 yards and a touchdown. He'll probably catch 2 more out of the backfield for another 20. I think Chubb's going to be the bust-out player of the game. My bust is any wide receiver for Baltimore. Don't think they have anything you can put anything on other than, God, I hope they catch the ball when they throw it to him. Tom?
Yeah. Man, if this was in Cleveland, I'd for sure take the Browns. I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns anyways.
Gotta try and catch me somewhere, buddy.
Here's the deal. Lamar is going to be Lamar, and he's going to do his usual thing. But J.K. Dobbins is hurt. Mark Andrews didn't practice because of a knee. That's scary to me. Rashad Bateman is supposed to come back from his foot, but why'd they sign Deshaun Jackson?
They needed to sign Deshaun Jackson even if he was healthy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things here that make me think this may be a down week. And after getting come back on against the Giants last week, I don't know. I don't like this game for the Ravens. So I'm going to go with the Browns. I'm going to go with Chubb being the bust out. He is a Ravens killer. He's done it before. He'll probably do it again. And my busted, I'm going to go ahead and take Mark Andrews as my busted.
Wow. Are you feeling okay?
Wow.
Are you okay?
Just something weird. I don't know. I don't like him having a knee injury. It may be time to pick up Isaiah Likely.
For those of you listening at home,
Tommy's always wrong.
keep that in mind.
That's right.
Okay, the next game on the list is the Seahawks versus the Chargers.
It's an old AFC West matchup, baby.
I took the Chargers just because I think that the defense for the Seahawks doesn't have an answer for Austin Eckler. And if they do, that means Mike Williams should be free. And I think the Chargers defense has an answer for Geno. Don't know how much, but I got Geno rated as a top 5 quarterback just because the Chargers defense is that bad right now. So I think it's going to be a shootout. You could very easily see both teams scoring the 30 points at this point in time, which means it guarantees it's going to be a single-digit game.
Right. It's going to be 19-16.
It's going to be 9-6. Now that I've said that, my bust-out player of the game is going to be Geno Smith. I think is going to have a good game. I know. Got him listed there. Herbert, I think, is going to be the busted player of the game, just simply because he can't do enough to keep them to meet the expectations we had for him going into the season. Unhealthy offensive line, but I think Geno's going to outduel him at quarterback at this point in time. Even though Herbert, I got ranked higher as quarterbacks, I think he's going to put up more fantasy. I think Herbert's going to put up more fantasy numbers, but Geno's going to be the bust out player. Tom?
Yeah, I'm not sure which teams will show up. I am sure that Justin Herbert will. He's going to be my bust out. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this pretty convincingly. I think it's going to be like that game against the Browns last year, like 50-30 or something like that. My busted, I'm going to take Keenan Allen. I think he's going to try to come back in this. I just don't think he's going to be very successful in it. I think that all of the Seahawks should be playable. Geno, Kenneth Walker, DK, and Lockett.
Okay. Tobin?
I've got the Superchargers, even though they still should be the San Diego Superchargers, but that's a whole other conversation. I've got Eckler. They don't have an answer for Eckler. I think he's going to be the bust out player. He's got to take that heat off of Herbert, and they're going to find a way. They've just got to get out of their own way. They've got all the weapons, especially if Allen comes back. They've just got to get out of their own way. They do have some injuries there.
They're 4-2 and haven't looked like a real football team.
They're 4-2 and are playing terrible.
Yep,
terrible. So
Terrible.
Busted. I got to go with Geno in this one. I just Doc picked him as a bust out, so I got to go the other way and tell him like Doc's always wrong.
Doc is always wrong.
Are you?
That's why you're kicking our ass and picking these things. Okay, Tommy, Bucks at the Panthers.
Oh, it's the Bucks. I mean, after last week, I'm worried about Tommy and Mike Evans. Less worried about Godwin and Lenny, but this should be the bounce back we expected last week. So CMC is the only show in Carolina here, and I don't know if it's going to be PJ Walker or this Jake Luton or Easton or whatever his damn name is. It doesn't matter. It's the Bucks in a landslide. I'll take playoff Lenny to be the bust out again. and I'll just line up on DJ Moore again and continue to take that kid as the busted.
He's got nobody to throw him the damn ball.
Tobin.
Yeah, I've got the Bucks in a landslide. We're going to call this one early.
That means the Steelers are going to beat him again.
Yeah, right. True that. Yeah, I don't think the Panthers, even at home, have a chance on this one. I've got Godwin as my bust out. Evans gets so much attention, and I think Lenny will as well. I like for Godwin to take it to the next level. He had a decent week last week. I think he had 6 for 60 something.
6 for 96.
Yeah, and I think he adds a TD and maybe even a couple more catches this week. Busted, I'm with you. I think DJ Moore, he's got nobody else in that receiving core. I mean, there's a reason CMC's their leading rusher and receiver on that squad. Those cupboards are bare. I've got DJ Moore as my bust.
Well, I've got the Bucks winning the game as well. I think that, of course, we thought this last week when they played the Steelers. There's no way this game can go any other way but to the Bucks. Man, if the Bucks lose this one, you got trouble in paradise in Tampa.
100.
My bust out is going to be Fournette. I think Fournette's going to probably rush for 113 and a touchdown, catch another 6 balls for 60 yards and possibly another touchdown. My bust player is pick a Panther, any Panther. I mean, let's be real. If it wasn't for CMC, would we say they have an offense?
No. I mean, CMC, though, won't bust because it'll be like last week. He'll get 50 or 60 yards rushing and get 6 for 80.
So pick a Panther besides CMC, and they're all going to be bust this week. Okay, Tobin, Texans at the Raiders.
I hate to say this coming from the AFC West, but I'm going to take the Raiders. I think they just this one could be, what's the over under in this one? I haven't even looked at that one, but this may be the one, depending on what that number is set at. You may want to take the over. I've got the Raiders. I've got Josh Jacobs as my bust out, and I've got Brandon Cooks as my busted player. Just because, he doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to him. I mean, what's Mills averaging? 92 yards a game in passing?
Something stupid like that.
It's better. I mean, it's like 192, but I mean, it's not.
It feels like 92.
I mean, it doesn't feel good. There's nothing about Houston at this point in time that feels good other than the running back.
Yeah. And I mean, as you know, in this league, if you only have one facet of the game, it's tough.
Yep. I'm taking the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to roll. I think this is a good game for Carr. I think Carr's going to be the bust out player of the game. I think, it's hard not to choose Adams at this point in time. I think Adams is going to go off, but I think Carr's going to rush for a touchdown and be able to become the bust out player. My busted player of the game is Darren Waller.
Till he shows up.
Till he shows up, you got to ride that dead horse until he shows up. Thomas?
45.5 is the over under.
I just looked at that. I think I'm going over on that one.
Yeah. I love the Raiders here. Devontae is going to smash. He's not going to be my bust out. My bust out is going to be Josh Jacobs. The Texans can't stop the run, and they have shown that they are willing to run Josh Jacobs into the freaking ground.
But he's not tradable.
Oh, no, he is. They're not going to trade him at this point. They are going to ride him this season, and they're going to start over next year with a different back.
Unless he makes it through that gauntlet healthy, then they might re-sign him to another show me deal.
Yep.
Yeah, to a 2 or 3 year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
My busted, I'm going to go with, I could go with Davis Mills. I could go with Brandon Cooks. I guess I'll go with Brandon Cooks. You know what? He's another one of those guys I didn't draft anywhere. I did not want any part of Brandon Cooks, although he has talent. He's just not going to get it done on the Texans.
Okay, Thomas, last game of the week. Your Commodes versus the Packers.
Oh, it's the Packers.
At the Commodes.
It's a slam dunk Packers at the Commode main toilet.
At the field known as FedEx Stadium.
Yeah.
There's the fight song.
There it is.
And, we need to rename the owner to the Tidy Bowl Man.
If
Mr. Clean.
But
yeah,
I'm
Mr.
telling
Clean,
you,
Mr. Clean, the Tidy Bowl Man.
I'm going to tell everybody right now, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go off on this, cut his ass. I mean, he is not going to go off. We cannot stop anyone. I know you've said that you think the defensive line is going to get some stuff done here, but their offensive line's finally getting healthy in Green Bay. I expect all these guys to smash. Raj, Lazard, Dobbs, Jones, Dillon. I'm going to say Dobbs is going to be my bust out. He's due for like a big game, like a 6 for 140 and 2 TDs, like just running past people.
Yeah, he's their only big play threat. I mean, really.
And I think he really has a chance here. My busted, I'll go ahead and put Heineke on it. I mean, I know he's going to have the extra time to prepare, but
he's going to need it.
It's a crap sandwich.
Hey, Tobin?
I've got the Packers here. I have to tend to agree with Tommy that Washington's defense is not much better than the Lions defense. If you combine them both, you might actually make an NFL defense.
Once you get past the front four, their defense drops off quickly.
Right. And Raj is known for being able to get the ball out quickly. I think that's going to be their advantage. I've got Aaron Jones as my bust out player. It was a toss up between him and Dylan. It's a matter of who's going to catch more balls out of the backfield there, I think, because that's going to be the hot release for him. My busted, I kind of agree with what Tommy wrote in the notes. I think it's going to be Samuel. I think, he feels like McLaurin's Heineke's favorite. That's a safety blanket. I mean, they connected really well last year. So I think Samuel's going to, get the short end of that stick.
Yeah, he was Wentz's guy.
Because he's going to be on the opposite side of the field and he's going to be the third read most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I too had the Packers winning this game. And I agree with
Tommy. They might win.
I agree 100%. If A-Raj doesn't just come out and absolutely light up the commodes, there's an issue. But I think that issue is going to be the defensive line for the commodes. I think they're going to pressure him. I look for a better game than what we think it's going to be, because I think the commodes are going to be up on a Monday night to be able to come out and do this. And the defensive line, I think, is going to play well. My bust-out player, I chose Dillon rather than Jones. I think they're going to turn the ball hand to him, and he's just going to smash, just have a really, really good game. My busted player, Heineke. I don't see how he can't just, he's a competent player, but
he's a backup.
Yeah,
he's a backup.
He's a decent backup, but he's a backup. Yeah. 100% agree.
Okay, and with that, we are
out of here. We'll see everybody next week. Remember, next week we'll have a special segment, probably replace maybe the waiver wire and the start sit, and do like a recap halfway through the season.
Sounds good.
All right. Peace out, everyone.